welcome back to 4G Other Podcast with me, Khalida. And today is a very interesting session and videos ever to be shared with you guys. So basically, I have planned to do a book review session of this book that I have read on the last weekend. So the book was recommended by my friends and my lecturers. So this is a very interesting book because it will help us to develop our creative minds and how we want to think outside of the box and how we want to enhance more creativity to solve our problems in our life. So the more interesting part is that the writer of this book, Twyla Tharp, was a very well-known and famous dancer and choreographer in America. She used to choreograph some classical, jazz, and contemporary music. And the book was an idea from her choreography, and she shared with us how she developed every motions and every moves in her dances. So I want to ask my friends Dini, Niza, and Ika and ask them if they have read this book before. I want to ask them which chapter is their favorite and why that chapter is very interesting to them. So without further ado, let's call them. So hello guys, welcome back with me again in 4G Oleh Podcast. And as I have mentioned earlier, we will be having a book sharing session with my friends here, Ika, Niza, and Dini. So I want to ask you guys, have you read about this book before?
Yes.
Yes.
So what
This
is
book is really interesting.
Yes, very interesting, right? And I have read the full book and I have one favorite chapter. So I want to ask Niza, what is your favorite chapter in this book?
My favorite chapter is basically the first chapter. The topic is I walk into a white room.
Wow, very interesting chapter.
Yes, a white room. Meaning that it want to say that everybody have a canvas, a clean canvas, and we have to use the tools to put our creativity on the canvas. Understand? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. For example, a composer will use a tool which is piano to create a melody or a song using the piano. Okay, understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, we always know that creativity is for artists, but actually it is not just for artists. It is also for everyone.
Agree?
I give a simple example. Okay, we students also need creativity. For example, to solve mathematic problems. Okay. Okay. Second example, parents, we also need creativity to effectively educate our children in order to ensure that they can be a good person one day. Okay. During a Romance era, there was a debate about creativity, whether creativity is actually gifted from God to someone or it is from our hard work. So basically, Twyla, who is the author of this book, opined that creativity is actually from your own hard work. It's result from your own hard work. Okay. This is okay. For example, how the creativity process, how to produce the creativity. Twyla said that it is actually started from an activity. When you have an activity, you must be disciplined with that activity. After you being disciplined to do activity oftenly, it will indirectly be a habit. From activity, you be disciplined with that activity, and it will be your habit. Okay. From your habit, then that's how you will see your result, which is your creativity. For example, Twyla is a choreography. She must always think to produce us to think about the step of dancing steps for her dancers. So Twyla always think make the for her to create the idea for the step, she has to think, and she being disciplined with the thinking and become a habit. And lastly, will create a creative step of dancing. Understand, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So
Okay.
that's very interesting to say that from the habit, it can be a creativity. Nice.
Yes. And another one, she also emphasized that our mind is like our body. Our body, before we exercise, we need to stretch out, like, right? Stretch out. And before we play, we have to practice. Same goes to our mind. Before we get the creativity, we have to think. Think is like the exercise. It's like the practice. Okay? Understand? Okay, so that's all from me. So basically, the book is trying to explain to us about how to be creative, in order how to prepare to be creative. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
So I think your point is kind of related to my next chapter, which is my most favorite chapter, which is the harness memory. So I want to share about the memory and the harness of memory. So as you guys know, that memory is like a chip, right? If you insert into your phone, into your laptop, and if you put your documents and all those important stuff in the chip, it will remain in that memory, right? Same goes to ourselves. Like we always remember some things that very meaningful and important for us, right? So for Twyla, she considered that memory is a skill where you will store away the important moments and non-important moments. If you think that some moment is very meaningful for you, then you will always remember it. Even though you are getting older, you will still have that memories inside your mind. And your memory can be perceived from experiences, images, and some knowledge that you get from others, right? So for me, it's kind of wonderful to see how memory works for human as like us. And Twyla also say that she has this kind of uh, anxious, worrying, and conflict. She said that if she's getting old, she will start to be forgetful person or senile. She will start to forget everything that she have in this life, and the memory will start to fade away. Then how she could overcome it? She tried to categorize every moment or every memory that she has. For example, she could categorize it by the comments, scene, and something that can associate with the date, space, and time. For her, if we categorizing all these elements, it will be a memory aids. It will enhance our memory, and we will not having that senile problem. For Twyla, uh, she sees that memory in that kind of definition is somehow is not really creative, because we only memorize. That's only. We don't have any creativity to set up or anything that we should do to trying to innovate something, right? So she said that even though we as a human can memorize something from the books, and we can memorize something like a poem from Shakespeare,
and all the stuff. But still, that the probability to us for us to create something like our own poem is very unlikely. You know, you might have the memorization skill, but the creative is not there, right? So in her opinion, she has this kind of type of memory, and she thinks that this memory is very important for her, which is we call as muscle memory. Muscle memory is very needed for her as a choreographer and as a performer. As we know that as a choreographer, you need to memorize the steps, how to move, which hands to lift first, which leg to lift first, right? So memory muscle memory is about a practice that you do with the physical movement. When you oftenly practice and use this kind of movement, it will become a natural gesture for yourself. You will do it without think about it. It will be like, oh, I can do it. Oh, I can do this without think about which hand to lift first. No. So, uh, we consider that muscle memory is a creative process because it can develop the skills rather than uh, rather than rather than inspiration. Yes. So why she said that it can develop skill? For example, if you're a dancer, okay, you are a beginner, you want to learn the dancing movement and all the stuff, right? So you have to see people first, then you start to copy, you will memorize and you start to copy. So when you already fluent in that kind of movement, you will try to do something else, you try to create your own movement, your own choreography. So that will help us to become more creative. And I will give the example. For example, right? If I took the license, car license. So in my place, we only allowed to have the manual car license. We don't have auto car license. So if you guys know that manual, you have the clutch, you have to play with the gear and all those stuff. It's a very complicated process. You have to memorize the step, which leg to step on this pedal, and what next, what next. So it's kind of relatable with me, right? So when I first learned how to drive, I was kind of that was kind of complicated process because it's very confusing. Which pedal that I need to step up first. So when I keep practicing it, it become a natural. It become fluent, and I can drive the manual like usual, like no problems at all. Like the first moment I tried to drive. So uh, I guess uh, that's all that I want to highlight the points from the harness of memory, the importance of muscle memory. And for me, it's very interesting to uh, to see how memories work, and memory has been divided into many forms. And the memory also can help us to create better solutions in our life, and how we want to help others, how we feel at the first moment. You know, when you first time driving and people ask you, hey, how was the first moment, how does you feel when you're drive, right? So you know how to deliver it, and people can, oh, okay, that's cool, oh, that's very scary. So it's very genuine to see. And muscle memory also, when we do the dances and all, it can create um the body gesture or body language. So for me, body language is a very genuine message to be delivered to others. Same goes to the dancer. So it's very creative to see that muscle memory can create something that creative and innovative. So that is the sharing from me. So anyone want to share that?
Yeah, I think your
Then
information is really useful for the people out there, because you say that when you keep doing something, so it become a habit.
So maybe any one of you want to share what's next? Maybe Ika or
Okay, I will go first.
all right.
Okay, so for me, the most important, my favorite chapter is from chapter 5. Okay, so the chapter 5 is about before you think out of the box, you need to start with the box. Yeah,
Wow.
it is a
Mm,
box. Yeah,
okay.
the box
Interesting.
that you imagine right now, which is a square box.
Uh,
Okay, so
Okay.
the point that I get from this chapter is the first point is how to have a creative organizational system. So the first tips that Twyla mentioned in this chapter, which is to start your project or to start your work in your life with a simple way. Okay, no need to be expensive. At least it will be portable and functional, so it is okay. So for her, she used a box to start her project. She, as you know, that she has a lot of project, a lot of achievement, and met a lot of choreography, right? and and then by using the box, why she used the box? Because she can put everything in one box: the CDs of her choreographies, her CD of her dances, her notebooks, and also her photograph. Everything she will put in one box. Okay, it is very nice organization. Okay, and then when the project is done, she will close the box and then she will move to another box with another project, with a new project. So this is very important for her because she can see her progress with this kind of box. She can see, oh, I have done this part and then I need to improve this part. And when she feel like, oh, I don't know what to do after this, and she do not know what is the ideas that she want to create, so she will look at another box that she has. She will look at this and she will find the new ideas with that kind of box. Okay, so this is really important for her in her life. And when sometimes the project can be delayed, or maybe sometimes the project can be cancelled, but she do not feel like disappointed with that kind of thing. She still strong and be positive because she think that the content is still in the box, so there is no problem with that. She can use the content for the next project. Okay, and then the second point that I want to share with you guys and the people out there, which is the simple habit, but it is give us the amazing effect. So what is the habit that she mentioned and she used is writing. This is a simple, guys, simple habit, but it is so hard for us to use this habit because yeah, we are human, we are lazy to write and jot down everything that we read and what everything that we learn. We feel like, oh, lazy, but she is a person, a different person, because she make this simple habit and she achieved a lot of things with this habit. Okay, sometimes she feel like she just jot down without any purpose. She do not know what I'm writing about. Okay, she do not know what is it about, but she believe that this notes, okay, in the notebooks, she will use it for another time in her future. And she recommended one thing in this chapter, which is human need to have their own goals in their life. Okay, so when we have our goals, we must list down all of our goals and what we want to achieve. For example, we want to get a fourth flat, we want to be a dean list. Okay, I mean, so when she, because she stayed in this chapter, she had read before this that when the New Year's, you know that the people will keep writing what they want to achieve, their wishes. And she said that the probability for them to achieve their goals and their wishes is high compared to the person who do not write their goals and what they want in their life. And she mentioned about Beethoven. Beethoven is, I know that you all know, Beethoven is a successful person in this world and he is a profile composer. He also used these tips, okay, these habits, which is writing. He keep writing what when he has a new ideas, a simple ideas, just a small idea, but he will write in his notebook. He has a lot of notebooks, okay, and then because he will use after maybe after a few weeks, after a few months, he will keep it and then he will use it and produce a creative ideas with a simple lot of simple ideas. Okay, so the key is here, behind the successful person, actually they use a simple habit, which is writing. So we need to follow them. And in Islam also, it states in one hadith, qayyidu ilma bil kitab, which is tie the knowledge by writing it. So we need to tie our knowledge and tie our what we want in our life with writing it. Okay, so the last point here that I want to share to all of you, when you want to start doing something in your life, just use a simple way. Do not be too complicated and do not have the high expectation in your life. Just a simple way, and then you can success in your life and in your work. And for the students out there, make sure use this habit. Okay, make the writing as your habits, because this is a creative habits for you guys, and it is very useful when the lecturers or your teacher give the notes, give the knowledge, grab it, because this is very important for you guys, okay, in the future. And maybe you can use the box organization, because you will have the organization well in your life. And the last word from me is, do not be overthinking, but then you get nothing. That's all from me. Thank you.
All right, I agree with the point that we need to have writing. You know, every time when you get something, you write down on your books. And I see that those who write down the notes on their books will always do the journal. You know, and then they will decorate the journal. It's very interesting to see how those people create their own journal, and it's very motivate me to do it at the same way, because it will boost my motivation to read and to study with that nice notes, right? So
Yeah.
very interesting, since
And
she
I
also
also,
include, since she also include the organizational box, you know. So very very universal to be used by all people. Yeah. So Niza, what your comment?
and a simple thing that I understand from Dini's explanation is what sometimes from simple method, it will give a big impact in our life, right?
Yes.
We don't need to overthink something. Like sometimes it is very simple, but will give us big impact.
Yes.
Yeah, life is so simple. Do not make it to be too
Complicated.
complicated. Yeah.
To be creative, you need to have a lower minimum, or at a minimum level. You don't have to go to maximum level. It's very
Yes.
interesting topic to be discussed. So
Understood.
last one we have Ika. So Ika, share with us,
Okay.
what is your favorite chapter in this book?
Okay, thank you for the question. So my favorite chapter in this book, which is chapter 6, known as what? Scratching, which is the this in this chapter, it is quite interesting because I kind of attract with the point that being highlighted by the writer. So the word scratching itself is very important for us to develop creativity. So do you know what is the word scratching is all about? So, okay, I'm gonna give you an example. When you go to the 7-Eleven, you will or you will buy like a reload card, you know, reload card for you to top up for your phone. So, when you buy the reload card, you tend to scratching off the gray layer of the card because you want to know what is the number behind of the gray part. So, it same goes to scratching idea, because when we're scratching an idea, we'll tend to digging up every material and also books in order for us to find something, because you will never know what will you get in the future. So Twyla Tharp shares in this chapter that it requires scratching. Scratching is a real and tangible. It bloodies your fingernails, and the key is not to block yourself, but you have to leave yourself open for everything. So she mentioned regarding two form of idea, which is big idea and small idea. So she mentioned that scratching is about moving away from the proposition of big ideas and scratching for those small ideas in order for us to evoke energy and action. It can be supported from quote then in this chapter, which is that is why you scratch for little ideas, because without the little ideas, there is no big ideas. So scratching is when you do scratching because you can't wait for any thunderbolt hit you. So this chapter, the writer also suggested tons of tips regarding how we want to scratch effectively. For instance, she suggests that we can watch movie, we can read a lot of book, we can, for example, we can modify our setting and also pay attention regarding our surroundings. So it can generate a lot of idea based on that. So if I say that we pay attention regarding the small detail of our surrounding, it can motivate you to develop a small idea, and apart from after that, we can develop a big idea. So okay, in this chapter also, she mentioned regarding that you cannot imagine if you do not start the action. I think it can be applied to our situation as a student. Basically, we have a lot of assignment, right?
Yes,
So if let's say that we do, if let's say that we do not start the assignment, how we want to generate ideas? Like if let's say that we do not start it, how what we do not know what is the point for what the point of argument we want to put in the assignment, and what is the sources for us to support our argument in the assignment. So if let's say that we start to generate idea or start the action, we can generate a lot of idea. So to generate a lot of idea, we should start the action first instead of remain the idea in our mind. So she also mentioned regarding ideas by a famous American psychologist named as Stephen Kosling, regarding that all ideas can be broken down into 4 stages, which is the first stages, generate idea. Generate idea, basically we generate idea through our memory, our practice, and also our experience. So the second stage is retain the idea. So we can retain our idea through notes. Basically, idea basically they are spontaneously pop up in our mind. So if let's say that we have like let's say that the idea pop out in your mind, just directly wrote it down in your notes, because maybe as later you will forget what is the idea that you have been talk about. So the third stage, which is examine the idea. We can examine the idea by study it and make a connection and deduction about it. And the last stages, which is transform the idea. We can transform the idea by alter it in on one way or another until it meet our objective. So if let's say that the idea meet our objective, so we can use the idea for our project or anything. So I think that's the summary for the chapters, and I already talked about what Twyla Tharp being the point that she highlighted in this chapter.
so it's very interesting to see that to make a big idea, we need to have a little idea. So with this
Yeah.
combination of little idea, it can be a greatest idea. So it's very
Yeah.
interesting to discuss about this and to be shared with people out there. And to develop a creative mind is not really hard to develop the creative mind. All you need to do is effort,
Yeah.
learning, and kind of search for knowledge. That's all. It's very,
Discipline.
yes, really being disciplined. So when it becomes a habit and you try to polish the habit, you will be creative. So I very appreciate you guys for having you guys in this discussion. Thank you so much. And any message to be delivered to our viewers out there? If you guys want to say anything to our viewers or our friends who still not very well known with the creativity, or any suggestions, come.
Okay, for the people out there, you need to read this book, okay? This creative habit books by Twyla, because it teaches us many things, okay? This is really important, guys, okay? For the people out there, just create your habits, okay? Your creative habit, maybe in your own way, and as long that you enjoy the habit and it is good and benefits your life, so it's okay. Okay, thank you for watching us tonight.
So thank you guys. See you
I
next.
hope to
See you guys.
See you guys for the next episode.
thank you.
Don't forget to
Hope to
subscribe.
have the opportunity to discuss with you guys.
Yes. Drop
Okay.
down a comment below if you want us to review another books.
Mm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Wow.